Welcome, fellow gardeners. Before we dive into this ancient gardening secret, make sure to hit that subscribe button so you don't miss any of our hands-on tips that turn ordinary gardens into thriving green havens. Today, I'm going to share a method that has been quietly transforming soil for centuries, creating rich, life-giving humus using nothing more than fallen leaves. Yes, you heard that right. No compost piles, no expensive additives, just leaves and a little patience. If you've ever stared at your garden beds wishing the soil had that dark, crumbly texture that holds water like a sponge and feeds your plants naturally, this method is your answer. Leaves are nature's own humus builders, full of carbon and other nutrients that, when managed correctly, can transform tired soil into a vibrant ecosystem. But it's not just about piling leaves in a corner and waiting. There's a technique, and understanding it is the key to success. You can turn everyday leaves into black gold by layering them with care. The first thing to know is that not all leaves are created equal. Some, like oak, maple, and sycamore, are rich in carbon and take longer to break down, while softer leaves, like those from cherry or fruit trees, decompose faster and release nutrients more quickly. The secret is to layer them in a way that encourages gradual decomposition without smothering your soil. Start by spreading a thin layer, about 2 to 3 inches thick, directly over bare soil or existing garden beds. This layer will act as a protective blanket, keeping moisture in and moderating soil temperature. Once your first layer is down, lightly sprinkle a small amount of nitrogen-rich material on top to kickstart microbial activity. This can be grass clippings, kitchen scraps, or even a handful of blood meal if you're looking for a more targeted approach. The goal is to create a balance between carbon, which is your leaves, and nitrogen so that microbes can efficiently convert the material into humus. You're essentially building a living, breathing layer of fertility right on top of your garden bed. You don't need to turn leaves like compost, but occasional mixing helps. Unlike traditional compost, this method doesn't require constant turning or heavy management. However, a gentle mix with a garden fork every few weeks can accelerate decomposition, especially if the leaves are thick or tightly packed. This also helps prevent the formation of dry pockets that resist breakdown. Think of it as nudging nature along rather than forcing it. In many cases, leaves will settle and start transforming on their own over a single growing season, but by the second year, you'll notice your soil darkening, becoming soft and full of life. For gardeners who like precision, here's a practical example. Take about 10 litres of dry leaves and mix them with 1 to 2 litres of fresh green clippings or kitchen scraps. Spread this over a square metre of garden bed. Lightly water it if the weather is dry and let nature do the rest. You can repeat this layering once or twice during the autumn and spring to build humus consistently throughout the year. The secret is in moisture and patience, not shortcuts. Leaves need moisture to break down, but they shouldn't be soggy. Too much water can lead to anaerobic conditions, causing unpleasant odors and slowing decomposition. Too little, and microbes go dormant. Aim for soil that's damp to the touch, and remember that patience is key. This process mimics the natural forest floor, where leaves fall, rot slowly, and enrich the soil over seasons. In fact, many gardeners find that after a few cycles, they rarely need fertilizer because their soil is self-sustaining and rich in nutrients. Another trick is to use leaves as a living mulch around plants. Spread a thin layer around vegetables, flowers or shrubs, leaving a small gap around stems to prevent rot. This not only protects the soil and conserves moisture, but gradually adds humus in place. Over time, your garden beds will develop a natural, crumbly top layer that feeds worms, beneficial microbes, and all the organisms that make a healthy garden thrive. You can adapt this method to small or large gardens without compost bins. One of the best things about this technique is its flexibility. In small urban gardens, leaves can be stored in a corner or bin and layered in pots or raised beds. In larger backyard gardens, they can simply be spread across beds in thin layers during the fall and left to work their magic over winter. For perennials and fruit trees, use a thicker layer, around 4 to 6 inches, to protect roots and slowly release nutrients. With vegetables, thinner layers work better, allowing for faster nutrient cycling while still keeping weeds down. The transformative effect is not just physical. Soil enriched with decomposed leaves becomes alive with earthworms and beneficial microorganisms. You'll notice improved water retention, better root growth, and more vigorous plants. In short, the humble leaf, often swept away or discarded, becomes a cornerstone of soil health. If you take one thing away from this, let it be this: patience and observation are your best tools. Watch how your leaves settle, notice how the soil responds, and adjust layers and moisture accordingly. With time, your garden will reward you with soil that works with you, not against you. Before you start gathering your leaves this autumn, remember to subscribe to Evergreen Garden for more practical, nature-focused gardening techniques. Share this video with fellow gardeners who want to create truly fertile soil without the hassle of composting. This ancient leaf trick is simple, sustainable, and incredibly powerful. It's a secret your garden will thank you for season after season.